All right, welcome everybody to another installment of the Pick and Pay Winemakers Table. Extra special this evening. We've got some really great things to chat about. Obviously, everyone has joined. I can see that we've got some people in the rooms there. Everyone's getting going quite nicely. Please make sure that you do mute your microphone, but do put on your videos. We love to see what's going on inside your kitchen. I love to see all the chefs buzzing around. We've got an incredible amount of 4 boxes now as well. That's just been growing and growing and growing. That means that you can order 4 of the food items with your 3 bottles of wine and have a great Thursday. A bit of a Puzza Thursday, but also a really fun educational one as well. So thank you very much to Pick and Pay Wine Club for organizing these incredible events. And thank you very much also to Pick and Pay Online for delivering all of those boxes to your houses. So I would imagine that everyone has got their boxes with their 3 bottles of wine, and they all are served inside those really great recyclable picnic bags, which are reusable as well. All right, so we are going to have an incredible night, very special, and thank you for coming, Shawn Mathyse, the winemaker from Ken Forrester. Thank you and welcome.
Thank you, Jonathan. Thank you. Welcome, everyone. First of all, thanks to Pick and Pay for allowing us the opportunity to showcase the brilliant wines on this platform. Ken Forrester Vineyards, as it's known, was started in 1993 when Ken bought this property, but the property was granted back then in 1689 to a German soldier. So the property is about 50 hectares. 30 hectares is under vines, and of those vines we produce our wines, and we get from other sites as well where we feel it's special sites. But yeah, our main focus is Chenin Blanc, but we make some other brilliant Sauvignon Blancs and Pinot Noirs like we're going to showcase tonight.
Fantastic.
So I hope everyone is going to enjoy that.
Yeah, I hope so too. We really are looking forward to it as well. My name is Jonathan Moldan, and I've been doing this for probably about 3 years now, and we absolutely love it. I love meeting all the different winemakers, creating some dishes, and just basically helping you out and in the kitchen, making sure that you guys end up as a little master chef as well. All right, so to do that and to become a bit of a master chef in your kitchen, I want you to get all of your equipment ready. And as I said, you probably have been delivered your boxes, and in each of those small little boxes, you've got elements to create 3 incredible canapes, which are going to be paired with 3 amazing wines from Ken Forrester. So before we get going and all the kind of food and the wine, I want to make sure that you got all your equipment ready. We are going to be using a pan, and we're going to be using obviously a stovetop. So grab yourself a pan. A normal pan like this is absolutely fine. If you've got a griddle pan that you want to use, even better. You can get some nice griddle marks on those peaches of yours, but get that going, put it on. I would say get that to a medium heat if you'd like to, and we can get going there as well. So yes, I think that we would love to get started. I'm sure that everyone's got their bottles chilled, hopefully. I'm sure that everyone's popped those bottles in the fridge. I would imagine for the first wine that we're going to be doing, a Sauvignon Blanc, we like to keep it nice and chilled, right?
Yes, definitely, definitely.
Great stuff. Cool. So let's start off with the first one. So Sauvignon Blanc, tell us a little bit more about the Ken Forrester Sauvignon Blanc.
So the Sauvignon Blanc is one for you.
Thank you.
As everyone knows, when you mention the word Ken Forrester, everyone thinks of Chenin Blanc. But like I mentioned, the first wine that they actually made on the property in '94 was actually Sauvignon Blanc.
I see.
And we always have to please the customer in that case, and because that's what wine is all about. It's not wines that we want to enjoy, but what the client wants to enjoy. So we pulled out Sauvignon Blanc out on the property because it didn't do so well. So we managed to do another tactic, which we sourced from special sites.
Yes.
So this is a combination of Sauvignon Blanc. It's our Ken Forrester Reserve Sauvignon Blanc.
Yes.
It's from 2 special sites. One site is from the property, a different property, which is in Stellenbosch, which gives you a much more tropical Sauvignon Blanc flavors in that case. And then there's another site which we got from the Agulhas, which gives you that salty, salinity, minerality taste to it. If you blend those 2 components together, you get that layers and layers of tropical notes on top and simultaneous on the palate and the finish. You get that combination of that.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, I can't wait to taste it as well. So guys, also what I want to make sure that you are doing as well, not only have you got your microphones muted, but if you do also want to just pin our screen so we become large on your screen, that is probably the best thing to do. Sometimes the Zoom works like that, but just make sure that you pin us. The top 3 little buttons at the top, you can just pin us and you can see exactly what's going on. All right, cool. So really exciting with this as well. I absolutely love Sauvignon Blancs, but for me also, that minerality on Sauvignon Blancs are so important. And you spoke about that Agulhas region as well, which I would imagine is right on the sea as well. So you probably get that little bit of that seaside flavor, huh?
Yes, definitely that coastal influence plays a big role, and a wine needs to speak where it comes from. And in that case, you will, when you taste the wines, you'll immediately feel that this was a cooler climate simultaneously with a warmer climate from the Stellenbosch, which is quite neutral.
Yes.
And that flavor and that texture must speak from that influence as well. 100%. And that's part of the style where I want that coastal influence simultaneously with that tropical notes to it.
Yes.
And what I also do is I keep these batches separately, the Stellenbosch and the Agulhas component under lees after fermentation. And when I finish the fermentation, I blend them together so the lees gets context. So that's why the acidity is not like normal overwhelming.
Yes.
I always call it Sauvignon Blanc mustn't be like a Superman.
No.
Because you know Superman flies like this.
Yes.
So all you see is the acidity when you taste it. So you don't want that. You want that to be integrated in the wine, and that's what I wanted to create here.
Fantastic. All right, good. Well, I think we're almost time to just taste it at least. I'm sure everyone is chomping at the bit to really taste it. And as I said, really what I love is a combination of those fruity notes and also some salinity. So I'm hoping this is going to nail this on the head. And it certainly does. It really, really does. It's got some nice sort of peachy notes, some stone fruit. It's not too over fruity, and you've still got that nice sort of salinity as a base as well. Yeah,
just that salinity line that cuts through your palate with that crispiness of the acidity. Yes. And that acidity is integrated into wine. It's nice and rounded because of that lees contact. And also you want that, I found that the peachiness and etc. And then there's this little bit of a bit of grassy notes that comes 100%. Through. And you want that subtle in there because of that cooler influence.
Fantastic. All right, that's really, really good, guys. I hope that you enjoyed that little bit of a tasting. We are obviously making sure that we are going to taste, but we're also going to be creating some really nice canapes, and that is all what this evening is about. It's about doing that. We'd love to kind of get involved with you as well. So if you've got any comments or anything that you want to ask us, please do. You can use the chat box and ask us any questions that you'd like, directed at me if it's about food, or if obviously Shawn if it's about wine, but we love to engage with you guys as well. So if you've got any questions, please do ask that. And not only would you just be engaging with us, but we'll also probably be able to stand a chance of winning 300 Rand worth of Smart Shopper points. So on that thing, what I want you to do is please make sure that you take photos of all your canapes. Take photos of your setup. I want to see what's going on inside your kitchen. The more creative, the absolute better. And please do use the 2 hashtags that we've got, which is PNP Wine Club and hashtag Ken Forrester. Use those on all social platforms. We'd love to see what's going on there. There we are, hashtag PNP Wine Club and hashtag Ken Forrester. You will stand a chance of winning 300 Rands worth of Smart Shopper points if you post an incredible photo and if you post really great stuff of your creations, but also if you're really engaging and you ask some amazing questions as well. Okay, cool. So we're going to start off with the first canapé. We've tasted the wine. This is really the exciting part, and we often get that really great privilege of being able to taste different wines and create different canapés. And so we'll show you what we have come up with. This doesn't mean that you don't have to change and do anything that you'd like to at your own special party, but with us tonight, we're going to be doing this. So what I've done is I'm just turning on my, there we are. Yeah, it's kind of working, kind of not working. I might have to ask one of my chefs here to help me out with that. But then basically what we're going to do is we are going to grill it is working. Perfect. We're going to grill our peaches. So as I said, if you've got a grill pan, fantastic. If you've got a normal pan, absolutely fine as well. We're going to put a tiny little bit, when I mean a tiny little bit of oil into the pan. Sometimes you don't even need this, because what we're going to be using are these beautiful peaches. Very, very simple. They're peaches that have been cooked in a little bit of sugar syrup. So you'll see that there will be a bit of caramelization that will go on. And this literally is a direct kind of additive of what I'm tasting in the wine. You've got a little bit of peaches and stuff. So we're going to pop that into our pan. I would say that that is almost hot enough. These things heat up very quickly. And I'm just going to lay that into our pan just to give it a bit of a caramelization. You can hear it bubbling away. If you've got a grill pan, even better, you get those beautiful lines on it as well. All right, so we have a few different components which go into this canapé, and we're going to start off with this beautiful little bit of a Melba toast. From Pick n Pay, they come in boxes for you. You don't need to do anything. These are a fantastic base for any sort of canapé, any sort of charcuterie board, anything like that. So you'll also see that you've got these beautiful little boards that have been delivered to you as well. That's going to be our little presentation board. And we're going to start layering this canapé. So this one, we've got a piping bag. You'll see this one exactly like that. That is a piping bag with some whipped feta in it. We've just literally got a log of feta cheese, and you've whipped it up. We've added a little bit of thyme. We've added a little bit of pepper into it. And we're going to just put that onto our Melba toast. So lay your Melba toast onto the board, onto your thing, and I'm just going to pipe a good couple dollops right next door to each other. Make them look like little soldiers standing next door to each other. There we are. Make it look beautiful. You can do little zigzags if you want, but I like these nice little dollops all the way around, leaving a small little place in the middle for your peach. So you can see there's some little bit of smoke coming off there, which is exactly what you want. You want to get a little bit of caramelization on your peach. And I'm going to turn that over. Woo, that was a bit too much caramelization. There we go. Perfect. Pop that over there. Turn that off. And what you're going to do is we're just going to place that nicely caramelized peach right on top of our whipped feta. You don't want to cook it too much. You just want to basically give it a nice warm through and give it a bit of caramelization. Okay. Then what you've got is another component, and this is a copper shard. You know what copper is? Basically, it is a pork neck. It's a cured pork neck, which they slice and they cure, and that basically gives it a really nice sort of nutty nose. And do you want to know why I've added this?
Tell me.
The reason why is because as we were talking about that minerality and that saltiness and the salinity of this really reflects that. So it's got a nice saltiness to it. So I'm just going to take that and I'm just going to break up a few little shards and place a few shards over it at different angles. And that would also cut through the sweetness slightly of the peach, and it will just give a nice salinity of that too. All right. We're not finished yet. We've got a lime, my absolute favorite of the citrus. And the reason why, it's because it is so floral. It's very different from a lemon. If you just zest a little bit of that. So grab your graters, guys, at home, and just give it a little bit of a zest. Make sure that you give that a bit of a zest, and you can really smell that it's not at all lemony. It's actually super fragrant. So what we'll do is we'll just get that and we'll do a tiny little bit of this lemon zest over it. And that just really brings out the freshness, and it just takes this to another level. So get a little zester or a grater and grate that over the top, and that'll give it a really good kind of freshness to it. So very simple. You've got 3 or 4 ingredients. Everything's available at Pick n Pay. Feta cheese, a little bit of copper, some Melba toast, and some of that peach. All right. So that's what mine looks like. I'm holding it up. We'd love to see basically what you have created yourself. So please do use those hashtags. Take some photos of what you've created and send them anywhere to your social media platforms using the hashtag PNP Wine Club, as well as the hashtag Ken Forrester. All right, Shawn, how are we going to do this tasting? So we're going to take a nice little sip.
Yes.
A good sip. Roll it around your mouth. Really get those flavors going all over your mouth. Cover your mouth and take a nice little bite of that. Make sure it doesn't break off when you're halfway through. But I hope you guys are doing exactly the same as well. Get that flavor going in your mouth. Take a nice bite. Roll those flavors around as well. And then also follow it up with another nice big swig of that Ken Forrester Reserve Sauvignon Blanc as well. And see how it either marriages, so when it comes to kind of wine pairing, it kind of either things work very well when you are pairing flavors, so things that complement each other, but sometimes it also works quite nicely when you're doing a wine pairing, that things kind of not work against each other, but work in a way that they kind of cut through things. So the feta cheese, it's quite creamy. It's quite it gives a creamy mouthfeel. And if you have something which is quite nice and fresh, like a Sauvignon Blanc, it's really nice that they kind of cut each other.
Yes, definitely. And like you mentioned as well, when it comes to wine pairing or pairing it with food, it needs to put the wine on a pedestal.
Yes.
And simultaneously integrate as well. It mustn't be and this exactly, you feel that integration of the peaches and simultaneously that salinity which cut brilliantly, and the wine just tastes a little bit more better, and that's the beauty of it.
For sure.
Perfect.
Yeah, well, great stuff. Well, I hope that you enjoyed that too. And so obviously with the Shannon, you said that you take two wines from two different regions. And when do you blend those? Do you blend them right in the beginning, or do you kind of mix that up?
So the two sites, the grapes will harvest the grapes and keep it separately.
Okay.
One will come before the other, and just after fermentation, when both are finished with fermentation, I blend them after that, and then I keep it on the lees for about what we call for about 8 weeks, which is about 2 months or 3 months on that lees, just to marry and harmonize.
Yes, you need to do that. Would you ever, if you've got different grapes from different regions, would you ever put them into the same crusher and crush them together?
You can, but definitely it will give you a different flavor back then, because that's a different winemaking influence.
100%.
But we prefer to blend them afterwards, and to marry and harmonize and get the layers, because if you're going to crush them together, and then they're going to be following one direction.
Exactly. It gives you a little bit more of a, so would you ever put, say, for instance, if you tasted it and you thought, well, this grape maybe has this characteristic, maybe I should be adding more of that. Would you ever blend it like that with the same Sauvignon Blanc? I mean, I know that it happens if you have a blend, you kind of marriage that at different levels and you try to get it right. But so it happens also with the same varietal.
It happens definitely, because I mean, we sit here with two different terroirs or two different climates.
Yes, it's true.
So what we first do is we put them equal parts together and see what they want, but we know what we want, because I know some clients or customer prefers to have a great balance of the two.
Yes.
If they wanted something, they'll go to a different brand or different wine.
Yes.
So you need to find a balance between the two and say, listen, we don't want you to be too expressive in terms of tropical notes.
Yeah.
We want you to have a subtle tropical note simultaneously, a little bit of salinity that fills it on, but not too much expressive. Because it needs to be on the palate, it needs to be the same thing. Because sometimes you get the wine is very expressive, and when you taste it, you don't taste that flavor. And that's also the key to marry and harmonize and find that balance between the two.
That's very interesting. Actually, to be perfectly honest with you, I didn't know that there was often a blending of the same varietal of different regions. It kind of it takes it even more of an exciting level. That's really
it is. I mean, there's Sauvignon Blanc. There's a lot of Sauvignon Blancs out there, and Sauvignon Blanc can sometimes be one-dimensional. But to give it more dimensions is to go to a different region and just add it into one wine. Instead of buying 2 bottles of wine, you can buy 1 bottle of wine.
100%.
From Pick and Pay.
Oh, that's a great idea. That is a great idea. Cool. All right, perfect. And so, I mean, you've done a huge amount of, obviously, winemaking over the last 10 years, specifically with Ken. And I think that, obviously, Ken has handed down an immense amount of knowledge to you. He's quite a pioneer in South Africa, isn't he?
Yeah, definitely. He won't say it, but he's a legend. I mean, He got awarded for last year that 1652 award for his influence in the wine industry.
Yeah.
And working alongside him, trying to soak up that knowledge. I know I look very young. Some people, when I tell some clients, they tell me, listen, did you start here when you're 12 years old? I'm like, but yeah, it's all about these wines I copy and paste, Ken. I need to take this to a next level by using that knowledge and going into a direction. And also with climate change, I mean, we all have to divert and work with climate change. So it's been an honor working 10 years there, going through the ranks, but I love it. It's all about your passion. I mean, you love what you do. I mean, it takes you places, it takes you, etc. It's all about the passion.
Fantastic. Well, I'm glad you have it here. As I've always said, winemaking is very much like cooking. You know,
definitely.
There's a lot of creativity in it. There's a lot of tasting. There's a lot of marriage of different flavors. And I always look up to winemakers as these guys that have this incredible palate that are able to bring out the best of one wine, marry it with something else, build it, create something. And it's like you put together a package of something that builds into something phenomenal. And to be perfectly honest with you, I honestly think that this wine is exactly, for me personally, the exact wine, that the Sauvignon Blanc that I love. I love the minerality. I love that kind of the salinity, and I love a little bit of a tropical fresh note. And I think that this has absolutely nailed it. Really, really good wine.
Thank you, John. You might become a winemaker.
I want to. I want to have a wine farm. Yeah. That's what I want to have. I must talk to Ken, see how he did it. All right. Okay. Cool. All right. So I think that we've done the first wine, and now also very, very exciting. And as I said, as Shawn said, when you think about Ken Forrester, you really do think about Chenin. And I think that really it comes from obviously a base of the fact that Ken Forrester really was a bit of a kind of a stalwart in terms of bringing Chenin into the forefront of what it is today in South Africa. I think it's changed a lot over many, many years. And yeah, I think that I'm very excited to taste the next wine.
No, definitely. Like you said, Chenin Blanc, I know it was mostly called Steen back in the past.
Steen,
yeah.
Okay.
Well, we don't call it's Steen on our labels. The reason for that, you just confuse a bit of the client. But Chenin Blanc was known back then as cheap wine or box wine or.
How many years ago are we talking?
We're talking about 35 plus, 30 years plus.
Okay.
And Ken Forrester, when he bought his property, there was a lot of Chenin Blanc old vines on the property. And the farm was farmed by the local cooperative just down the road. Because Chenin Blanc is that variety, you can plant it anywhere.
Yes.
You just give it chicken manure and water, it will grow.
Really?
Yeah.
Easy grower.
Easy grower.
Yeah.
And when it comes to for spirits distillery, it gave it much more like a floral type of notes and a good base spirit for brandy.
Yes.
So Ken bought this property, he had a lot of Chenin Blancs on the property. He said, these vines are here, they survived for a reason.
Yeah.
So he said, if there's no category for Chenin Blanc, you have to create one.
Sure.
So he started producing Chenin Blanc and tried to put South African Chenin Blanc on the map. And that's why people know him as Mr. Chenin or King of Chenin Blanc in South Africa.
King of Chenin, absolutely. Yeah, for sure. And I've been a big fan of Chenin Blanc over the last, I would say, probably only about 10 years, really. And I've seen how it's changed over the years. And maybe 15 years ago, it was just, it was always tropical, it was always fruity, it was easy drinking, and that's probably why 15 years ago that I started drinking it, because it was easily accessible, it was something that was quite easily palatable, and it was fruity and vibrant and a nice summer wine. But as the years have progressed, I've seen how Chenin Blanc has evolved and has become more complex, and there are a lot of different styles of Chenin Blanc. It's changing all the time.
Yes, it's changing. I mean, I myself, I do probably over 12, 13 different Chenin Blanc wines.
Wow.
But I believe there is three main styles of Chenin Blanc in South Africa: your fresh, your fruity, and your riper style.
Fresh,
or
fruity,
rich,
and ripe. Yeah.
Or rich and ripe.
Yes.
But I mean, Chenin Blanc, you can create a Cap Classique nowadays. I do one with Chenin Blanc, and I do an unwooded Chenin Blanc. Then this is a lightly wooded style.
Yes.
Then you get a full-on oak. You can make a dessert wine with Chenin Blanc. We use a base wine for our gin distillery as Chenin Blanc. So Chenin Blanc is so diverse.
Yes.
And in terms of over the past 10 years, the styles have dramatically changed.
Yes.
People started to move away from much more heavier ones, more to lightly parsley oaked.
Yeah.
And there's much to offer about Chenin Blanc for people, and in terms of a food wine as well.
100%.
It can pair perfectly with food, and we're going to show you tonight as well, even with a nice canapé or something, or
100%.
with seafood, fish, or even with red meat. I mean, Chenin Blanc can surprise you.
Exactly, I know, and from a pairing perspective, I totally know that as well. So Chenin Blanc is a great wine to pair food with. It really is. It's what I love about it is that, as you said, you get so many different kind of nuances coming out of a Chenin Blanc that it can be a slightly more wooded, rounded, almost Viognier, Chardonnay kind of Chenin. And then you would be pairing it with something a little bit more richer, something a little bit more creamy, something which is light and more sort of tropical, something that's fresher. You can be pairing it with ceviches and pineapple things and salads and whatever you'd like that. And as you said, even spicy prawns, something, even curries. Like a curry actually is probably one of the perfect marriages for a Chenin Blanc.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, with our Cape Malayan curries, I mean, it works perfectly because the spiciness is balanced by the wine sometimes. Sometimes, especially if it's been in oaked, it cuts out that spiciness, so it just rounds it off. I mean, everything from, like you said, the Thai dishes or Thai prawn curries, etc.
100%.
It can go perfectly.
Great, cool. So I'm sure everyone's also chomping at the bit to get back into the kitchen. They want to start cooking. We do have something which exactly what Shawn was mentioning is something that is very much based around those Cape Malay flavors, curries, warm things. So what we do is we've got our pan to see if I'm able to even operate this thing now. There we go. Not as hot as before, I'd say on a medium heat. Inside your boxes, we've got a few little components which I wanted you to take out. We have got these beautiful little wraps which can be used and are going to be used as a little mini roti. We've got some beautifully pickled little cauliflower, lovely. We've got a little bit of some green herb oil over here, some coriander oil. And I just need a little bit of toasted almonds as well. And I need the roasted apple here too. All right. So we've got some honey roasted almonds on there too. So what we're going to do is we've got our little tub of butter over here. This butter has got a little bit of garlic into it, which just adds a little bit of flavor. I'm going to add that to the pan. There we go. That's just a little bit of butter. Pop it into the pan, and that's going to make it very, very good. We'll just chuck that through in here. And what I'll do is I'm just going to place, there we go, throw it there. Put that into the pan. Lovely. So that's frying off. You can smell that garlic going. Get your pans, as I said, to probably a medium heat. You don't want to burn it too much. There we go. And you just want to basically give it a little bit of a toasting. And that's going to be the perfect base for our little mini naans. These things are super, super versatile. They're available at Pick and Pay in all different sizes. These are the little mini wraps. You can make little tacos with them if you want to. You can put them into a pan and fry them and get nice little bit of charredness on it to make a roti, or you can just literally serve it as a little mini wrap. Beautiful. Okay, so that's also nicely going in there. As I mentioned, this cauliflower, very, very simple to do. All we've done is we've taken the cauliflower, we've taken off the little bits of the whatever they call florets, and we've pickled them. So you cook them lightly in a little bit of sugar, a little bit of vinegar, some spices. We've used some turmeric, we've used a little bit of curry powder, some onions, and we've basically made a cool little pickle there as well. There we go. So look at that, nicely toasted little naan. Place that onto the board, turn that off. There we go, and that's going to be our base. It's going to have a nice little crunch. We're going to place that on top, and we're going to start building our nice little roti. Roti, naan, whatever you want to call it. Okay, so take out your cauliflower and place that onto the middle. There we go. You'll have enough there to make that look nice and beautiful. You'll see that we've also got a few seeds in there as well. It's a little bit of spices too. Okay, so now we've got, as you know, when you kind of make food, it's all about different textures and it's all about different flavors as well. We've got another little texture here. We've got a nice soft baked apple. And this little soft baked apple, I'm just going to place around it, just in small little dollops, even on top if you'd like. There we go. And that just adds a nice little bit of sweetness. It also gives it a nice caramel flavor as well. All right. So we've got two other little elements. We've got our coriander oil, which is this. Also very, very simple to make at home. All we've done is you get oil, or you start off actually with any herbs, and soft herbs work the best. So I would say coriander, parsley, if you want to use some mint, any sort of soft tarragon herbs would work. And you blanch those. So basically what blanching means is you dip them into boiling water, and then you quickly take them out, you shock them in some cold water, so that is what makes all of this actually keep its nice green color. And then you blitz that up with oil, you strain it through, hey presto, you keep that in the fridge out of sunlight. Keep it out of sunlight, because the sunlight does make it go slightly brown. Doesn't mean that it's gone bad in the slightest. It actually just means that the colors change, but it tastes exactly the same. All right, so you're going to snip the end of that, and we're going to give this a bit of a drizzle of the herb coriander oil just around that. There we go. And last but not least, we're going to add our last crunch. It's always important to add texture, and crunch is good. And I like to have contrasting flavors as well. So this has actually got a nice little bit of, it's almost like a honey kind of crusted almond. You can also use some sugar. You basically place it over the almonds, pop it into the oven and dry it out. It's really, really good. There we go. I'm just going to place that around there. Magnifique. All right, cool. So there we are. That is the second canapé. I hope everyone has sort of kept up a little bit with exactly what we're doing. And we are basically, we've got our beautiful little taco / roti / little naan bread, which is all done with the cauliflower. I hope everybody has been able to do that as well. Can everyone please take some photos and have a look and see if they are able to make things that look just like this? That'll be really good. But do please use your hashtag PNP Wine Club as well as the hashtag Ken Forrester. All right, so we're on to the next little tasting. Same thing, guys. Take a nice little sip of this too. There we go. Roll that around your mouth. Now, it's so different here. It is so different to the Sauvignon Blanc. Sauvignon Blanc had that quite sort of, like the minerality. This is a lot rounder, and it's obviously because maybe it's been put on some partially oak slightly.
Yes, definitely. So this wine is for me all about balance. It's partially oaked, as we call it. It's basically from the same block of grapes we pick, but we pick twice. So the first fruit are exposed to the sun, so those are quite yellowish and ripe. So that we ferment in a stainless steel tank.
Yes.
And then the second picking, we ferment that in barrels.
Okay.
So the stainless steel tank is left under lease after fermentation for 9 months to give you the creaminess.
Okay.
And the barrel component is also left under lease for 9 months. So the whole idea is you want that freshness from the stainless steel tank.
Yes.
And a little bit of richness and complexity from the barrel component. That's why you feel like there's a little bit of richness, and also you get a little bit of slightly oak flavors from there, but not too much, but much more. Think of the tropical notes on top, and then a little bit of slightly vanilla coming through, etc. And that roundness because of that balance that we're trying to find between the two vessels.
Yes, exactly. I love it. I really, really do love it. So guys, please do take your canapé if you have caught up. I'm handing it over to Shawn. He is the taste tester today. He's letting me know what he's deciding on how those canapés work. Please do take some photos. As I said, we'd love to see what's going on. We can see some of the kitchens, and everyone's busting around, having a great time. I hope you are enjoying it. And as I said, please do ask us questions. We would love to hear what you have to ask Shawn. I'm sure there's lots of questions. I've got many questions. Maybe I must just be quiet and let you guys ask the questions. But do please do that. It'll be really great to hear what you have to say. If you've got any questions for me, please do also ask me as well. I'll be very happy to ask as well. All right, so what do you think, Shawn?
Definitely, I love when you taste the canapé. It's slash naan slash
yes
roti. It's definitely the flavor starts bursting in your mouth, and that's what you want. And you get the cauliflower that's good with that little bit of spice, and it's just different flavors and textures that's 100%. Going on in your mouth currently, and that's the beauty what I like about it, being able to pair those two. And Chenin Blanc is always a good winner. It's always a safer as well, but I mean it works brilliantly with that slightly sweetness that's coming through. But brilliant.
Good. Well, I'm glad that you like it. So, Chenin Blanc is a super versatile wine that you can pair with a huge amount of different foods. The interesting thing which I saw about this Chenin Blanc, is it an old vine Chenin Blanc?
Yes, definitely. We use a lot of old vines. There is a younger block in the mix, so that's why we say on the label it's old vines. So it means with these old vines, what old vines usually gives you is a lot of concentration. I always make the expression for the example for guests where they tell, so what's the difference between old vines and young vines?
Yes.
I mean, I say to them, if you look on a Friday evening,
yeah,
the young vines think of the youngsters.
Okay.
Where are they? They're out looking for a party.
Yes.
And the elderly or the more mature people will be at home, enjoy a glass of wine, and etc. etc. And the same with old vines. The old vines rootstocks are so established. They don't need to stress for water or anything. And the younger vines, they some sort of feel that stress when it's going through water stress or some disease stress or etc. So these rootstocks are well established, so they take up quite relatively easy the nutrients, etc. And that's why you get a lot of concentration. And older vines usually has lesser yield.
Okay.
So that means they can split more into lesser bunches, whereas younger vines bear more fruit.
Yes.
Which has a lot to feed. I always say, think of a mother with a lot of kids. Not all of them is going to be fat.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. And tell me the difference between bush vine and old vine.
Most bush vines are old vines.
Old vines,
yeah, bush vines are the ones that are close to the ground that looks like little baskets at the bottom.
Yes.
And you get your trellis system, which is with the wires and etc., which are meant to bear more fruit.
For sure.
And usually that's the definition between that. The bush vines and old vines usually gives you much more concentration because they're closer to the ground.
I see.
Yeah.
I see. Okay, well that's interesting. And so you do have obviously an old vine collection as part of the Ken Forrester range.
I would say about 95% of our Chenin Blancs are old vines.
I see. I see. So that's obviously what was there when Ken Forrester got to the farm and he saw these Chenin Blanc the vines, and he was like, I've got to get this farm.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, if you look at the Old Vine Project, they will tell you that probably of the Old Vine Project in South Africa, about probably 80% of the old vines registered in South Africa are Chenin Blanc. And it is the most widely planted variety. The reason for it, like I mentioned earlier, it can grow anywhere. And people wanted to give more yield and etc. and etc.
Well, it's fantastic. It really is good. I really enjoy that. As I said, Chenin Blanc, been one of my favorites for a long time. And obviously Ken Forrester really has produced the goods, and you've produced the goods, creating all this range. Are you the winemaker? Do you do the all ranges? You must have, I mean, how many different wines you do? There's probably like 30 different wines that you do.
Last time I checked, it was over 40. Yeah.
Really? Incredible.
Yeah, I have a bit of gray hair, but you can't see. Ken has passed on the reins to me last year. Last year I was promoted to head winemaker of the group. I have sleepless nights, but like I said, I enjoy it, from presenting it to making it to growing it to drinking it. It's important. Yeah. I just love it. And I've got a huge soft spot for Chenin Blanc.
Yes.
It's one of those varieties which you can do a lot. We can sit here and talk and drink all night. about Chenin Blanc, just because of the diversity,
Yes.
and the versatility. Like I always say, it's a personal quote of mine. I said, Chenin Blanc is so diverse, like our cultures.
Yeah, 100%.
You can have a Chenin Blanc from this side of the mountain to the other side of the mountain. It doesn't mean it's going to be bad. It's going to be different.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty of it. The clients will enjoy that because they know it's going to be different, but it's not going to be bad.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's fantastic. Hope everybody loved that. I'm just seeing some fantastic comments that are coming through. The pairing was delicious. Can we have the curried cauliflower recipe? Absolutely. We can send you the curried cauliflower recipe. Just drop us your email address in the comment box and we will send you that recipe. Absolutely no problem. All right, good stuff. So we've tried a few different wines. We've gone through 2 different wines. We've gone through our Sauvignon Blanc. We've also gone through our Chenin Blanc. I don't even know which one's my favorite. They're both unbelievable. So I'm not going to let that one go to waste. And we're on to our last one, which is our red. Something also that I'm sure absolutely everybody, I'm pretty sure, has come across in their shopping trolley at Pick and Pay. It's a wine that we've seen everywhere. It is absolutely fantastic. And something which is for everybody. And I think that that's probably what this range is. It's all about. Is that not correct?
Yeah, definitely. The petit or what people call it, just how you like it.
Yeah.
It does mean small in French. And this is quite a large range, but as you know, all of our grapes are hand harvested.
Yes.
And Ken personally believes that if you look after the community will look after you in that case. And by employing people to pick, because in a harvesting team, there's probably about between 40 to 90 people that comes and harvest our grapes.
Okay.
And he believes that one picker probably feeds a family of 8 or 9.
Oh, it's true.
And you can use a machine, but you will pick people out of. And because of this is bigger volumes, it's all hand harvested. It's just something small he's trying to give back.
That's amazing.
And that's why the name is Petit, small.
Ah.
And it was a small range, but nowadays it's grown on to probably 6-7 wines that we produce. The whole idea is to create easy drinking, affordable, but drinkable wines.
100%.
And here it's all stainless steel tanks, nothing funny done, no barrels, oak, just easy drinking. Can always say, when you buy a bottle of Petit, make sure you have 3 or 4 more backups. When you start cooking, halfway to cooking, you take a glass. You don't want to be educated where it comes from, how it's made.
You want to be drinking it.
You just want to take a sip and say, this is nice. That's the whole idea behind this range.
100%. But that's quite a special thing. So basically, he could have got machinery to do the picking, the pruning, the whatever, the winemaking, not the winemaking, obviously, the machines can't do that. But so he instead employs people to do it and he's giving back to the community. Yeah,
everyone's talking about sustainability. I mean, we farm sustainability, and sustainability needs to relate back to the community as
100%.
well, trying to be sustainable. And I mean, you can, for lifestyle wines, it's usually the affordable wine, so you need to cut your costs somewhere.
Yes.
Sometimes you won't do too much, or you use machine harvest, which is cheaper and etc. But we all are taught as kids, your mother will say, that's a bad apple. And simultaneously in the vineyard, quality also starts in the vineyard with those. They will not pick a bad bunch, etc. And so that's why we give you so much exceptional quality for that value. The reason for that, because it all starts in the vineyard by employing these people and make them work.
Oh, that's amazing. Very, very good story. Cool. So we're going to taste our last and final canapé of the evening. We're going to be making something slightly different, something that's kind of, I would say, a little bit festive, something that speaks to some cake, some spices, some warmth, a little bit of the, obviously, of the sort of the festive season as such. And that's what we kind of always think as well about the Pinotage. The Pinotage is a grape and a varietal for me that has a lot of different characteristics. There's kind of that warmth that comes through it. Sometimes there's a bit of pepper that comes through. Sometimes there's a bit of creaminess. But really, what we're looking at here is very much a fruit-driven, fruit-forward Pinotage.
Yes, definitely.
Red berries, those kind of things.
Yes, if you take a sip and smell that, you will find that it's much more fruit driven.
Yeah.
And the reason for that, I didn't want to make Pinot Noirs quite fun and drinkable. I mean, this is the wine, I always tell people, this is wine that also goes very well with pizza, with a tomato-based pizza, because of that tomato does really well balance out that with the wine in that case. But also, Pinot Noirs is South Africa's unique variety. It's been crafted here in South Africa and people look to us, but here you don't want something very much serious. You don't need a book to understand this wine. You just need to take a sip and enjoy it.
Fantastic. Well, I'm certainly going to enjoy it as well. Love to see what's going on over there. I would like to see everybody in their kitchens. If you do have your cameras, please turn them on. I'd love to see exactly what's going on. I'd love to see myself as well, if that's cool. And basically, I'm getting some really good comments that are coming through. Everyone's loving the cauliflower pickle, which is fantastic. Everyone is loving the red, which is even better as well. And somebody's also asked for the apple ginger chutney as well, which is very, very cool. If I didn't explain exactly how to do that, what we did is we roasted those apples with a little bit of sugar, literally in the oven. Then you put it into a pot with a little bit of apple cider vinegar, which complements the apples. And we add some grated ginger into that too. And you cook it down into like almost a little bit of a compote as well. So it's a little bit of chunkiness, but it's got that nice zinginess to it as well. But we can send that to you too. Of course we can. All right, so let's have a look at our final canapé. What we've got in our box are these really cute little blocks of fruitcake. Got a little bit of sweetness to it. Got some spicy notes. It's also got some fruit into it. So it's got a lot of red fruit. It's got some currants. It's got some cherries. It's got those kind of things in it, which is really, really great. And then we've got another few components, which you'll find in your boxes. We've got some interesting things, something slightly different, but this is basically made up with 3 or 4 different components. So inside our last little piping bag, we're also just going to snip the end of this. That is pretty much a vanilla cream. So very simple as well. This is made with some butter. It's made with a little bit of icing sugar, a little bit of vanilla essence. And what we're going to do is we're going to take this. You can make a little sandwich if you want to. You've got 2 pieces. You can make a sandwich, but I'm just going to do it just with 1. I'm going to just get this and I'm going to make, I made that hole way too small. Cut off a little bit there. There we go. And I'm going to make some nice little dollops on the corners. And right at the end, when you do that, keep your hand still and then just pull up and you'll find that you get these really cool little mountains that kind of come up there like that. Yep, there we go. That's cool. And that's got the vanilla cream. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up my jar over here. And what this is it's a cherry coulis. So this is made with sour cherries, also available in tins in Pick n Pay. It's exactly what we use that. And what we're going to do is we're just going to drizzle a little bit of this over the top, a nice little dollop in the middle, and then there's some of the juice, which I'm just going to drizzle over that as well. And that just gives it a little bit of sweetness as well as a little bit of tartness. And then we've got 2 components here. We've got some nuts, which are literally just mixed nuts that have been roasted. And then over here in this other one, we've got a little bit of dehydrated bacon. Very, very simple. Obviously for the vegetarians, this is not for you. These nuts are for you on this one. So what you can, if you're non-vegetarian, is you can mix them up a little bit. You got the nuts, you got the bacon, put it into a little bowl like that. Give it a bit of a mix up. There we go. And that adds a little bit of a savory note. Sometimes it's nice if you've got something which is sweet, like a chocolate. Often, I'm sure everybody knows that, this salted caramel, this sea salt chocolate, it's nice to have a little bit of saltiness in something that's sweet. So we've added this little chopped up bacon. There we go. And I'm just going to pop that on the top. And you'll see that with the sweetness of the cream, the tartness of the cherry coulis, the nuts, they got the crunchiness of that, and then a little bit of the saltiness of the bacon. You'll be surprised, something that you'll be surprised that it's actually really, really good. So that is mine. Love to see yours, guys. As I said, please don't go away without taking a photo, you do stand a chance of 300 Rands worth of Smart Shopper points to 3 lucky winners. So please do take photos, use those hashtags again, and we'd love to see your photos. Ken Forrester, hashtag Ken Forrester, hashtag PNP Wine Club. Over to you, my friend.
Oh, thank you, Jono.
What do you think about the combinations there?
No, definitely. It reminds me, Ken made this online video about pinotage for some, and he used exactly what we call in Afrikaans Christmas koek.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, the fruit cake. So, and in that image, I still see it because this is a combination of different flavors that you have in the pinotage. And one thing you can do with this pinotage as well is you can chill it a bit as well and make 100%. It like a summer red. Yes. Because it's light and
exactly that.
Fruitful and youthful, so you can enjoy it just like that. Yeah.
Unbelievable. Yeah. So I'm very happy that Ken was on the same page as me. Kindred spirits. Ken's actually a qualified chef, isn't he?
Definitely. Yeah. Definitely. Let me just
you do that. So as I said, same thing here before. Take a nice sip of the Petit Pinotage. It is really, and I hate the word easy drinking, but it is super enjoyable when I can believe that I can be anywhere having a glass of that, whether it is cold winter's night, even a hot summer's day. It's light, it's refreshing, it's well balanced. There's nothing that stands out. The tannins aren't strong. It's a very welcoming glass of red wine.
Yeah, even it works as a dessert as well. I usually tell people now, I will tell them definitely it works as a dessert wine as well.
Yeah.
I always tell people it's your braai type of wine. Yes. Where you invite your friends over, you don't want to take out the expensive stuff.
Yeah.
This works perfectly well. But I love the combination between the two. You definitely get that entwine of flavors that's running through, and that bit of saltiness that's just at the right spot. And this perfectly pairs well with it. Yeah.
Oh, I'm so glad. I'm so glad. And I hope everyone's enjoying that at home as well. Certainly, as I said, drop your email address there. We'll gather all of the email addresses and we'll send you some basic little recipes. But really, as I said, you don't need to follow exactly what we are doing and exactly what we want to be doing here. Wine pairing and food pairing is really an expressive form of whatever you want to do. So exactly what Shawn has said, this kind of bottle, this glass of wine, this pinotage would pair beautifully with a steak. It would pair beautifully probably with a curry even. And around the braai, standing around the braai with a glass of this, what a better way. But go out to Pick n Pay, try new things, order some ingredients online, go through the realms of just trying things out. You've got the basis of what is needed to create these canapes and try it at home. You know, invite some friends around, get 4 or 5 bottles of wine, hell, get 10 bottles of wine and go through, make 3 or 4 different meals and taste them with the different bottles of wine and see how they kind of change and see how they work particularly well together. Experiment. And that's really, I think, what the Pick n Pay Wine Club is all about. It's about getting the wine out there. It's about really kind of getting people to try new things definitely. And, opening it up. It's not a serious thing anymore.
No, definitely. I mean, I'm a Pick n Pay shopper myself. And when this Chenin Blanc, which we paired it with one best Chenin Blanc in the world with a 2021 vintage.
Did it?
Yes.
Why didn't you say that from the beginning?
And everyone flocked to the farm to get their hands on it, and we were sold out. So, and one evening afterward, I went to go get something at Pick n Pay at our local one. And as I brewed through, I had a look to the wine, trying to find a bottle of wine, and oh yes, that vintage.
It's there.
And I was like, everyone who comes to the farm said, you need to head down to the nearest Pick n Pay because they still have stock.
Great.
Yeah, but it's awesome. I mean, it makes it so easy for you. I mean, with the wine club itself, I'm a member myself. I see this whenever I'm shopping. I just grab a bottle of wine.
Yeah, 100%. And I think that's really what the Pick n Pay Wine Club is about. That they got some incredible deals, not only on their monthly selection of wines. There's free delivery. It's a really great club to be involved at. You will obviously see within your packs, very lucky, not only looking into what you've received tonight in your packs, but you'll see also that you have got some vouchers. So this little voucher over here, all you need to do is to go on to Pick n Pay online and use the voucher code KEN100 at the checkout, and you get 100 Rands worth of, 100 Rand off your order, which is fantastic. Not only that, you've also got on these 3 wines, the Ken Forrester wines, you've also got 25%, which has been loaded onto your Smart Shopper cards. You'll get 25% off those wines as well. So really, really great deals. Obviously, as a Pick n Pay Wine Club member, you get an exclusive access to different events like this. Obviously, the great deals are 25% off the selected wines for the month as well. So spread the word, get it out there. What a fantastic club to be partner of as well. So I think that hopefully everyone's enjoyed themselves. I've had a really, really great time. We've tasted some incredible wines. We've made hopefully some really nice food. Everybody in the comments seemed that they've really had some really good time. We do have a question here, which is really, really good. I'm just a little bit up if I can see that. There we go. It's how many years can old vines be fruitful for? Nice question.
Nice question. Oh, I love that question. How, in terms of fruitful?
Yeah, so how long do they keep producing for?
Currently, in South Africa, old vine needs to be older than 35 years.
Yes.
The oldest vine that I'm currently working is about 63 years old.
Okay.
And
wow.
And it still gives me a great amount of yield.
It's incredible.
But I know there's Mrs. Kirsten, which is the oldest, Chenin Blanc, probably one of the oldest as one, which is in Stellenbosch, which that vine, I think it's 73 or 70 odd years old. So it all depends on how healthy you keep the vine and,
yes.
and trying to keep it virus free, and also trying to farm it in a sustainable way.
Yeah.
Because I mean, all these chemicals and herbicides and pesticides, they all play a bit in part into the health of the vine, and also the health of the soil is very much important. So that's the thing. It's like a car. It has many miles on it, but as long as you keep it serviced, that's the same thing. You need to keep the soils healthy, and that's the most important thing.
Okay, amazing, cool. So we have got some winners as well, which is very exciting. The winners of the 300 Rands worth of Smart Shopper points. We do need to just pull that up so we can see. Well done. We've got Sarah Aitchison. Fantastic. Well done. Jackie Werenberg as well, or Wernberg, but I think it's Werenberg, and Dave Ingram. Congratulations. You guys have got 300 Rands worth of Smart Shopper points that are going to be loaded onto your Smart Shopper card for great photos, either comments or something. So really good engagement as well. So thank you very, very much. And while we're on the thank yous, thank you obviously to Ken Forrester. Really fantastic evening.
Thanks to Pick n Pay for allowing us the platform. I mean, it's been such an honor and privilege. It's been great fun. I mean, perfect. And just to know that all these ingredients are available at Pick n Pay, definitely I'm going to try some new things now.
Fantastic. Well, that's really good.
Points.
Definitely. All right. Well, so guys, so keep your eyes on all the communication coming from the Pick n Pay Wine Club. We do have another one coming up on the 9th of May. So do keep your eyes peeled for that. Also, we've got the Pick n Pay Wine and Food Festival coming up at the the Claremont Cricket Club in Constantia. And that happens on the 27th and the 28th of April in Cape Town. We've got over 45 different wine farms. We've got an incredible sparkling experience, which is all dedicated to bubbly. We've got amazing food. There's entertainment. There's games. It's a really, really fantastic 2-day out. So also go onto Web Tickets and have a look. And for the Pick n Pay Wine and Food Festival, there are some tickets available, but get there quickly because they always sell out very, very fast. Cape Town is an amazing festival, so do come there. You're able to taste the wines from 45 different wine farms. There's also a tasting room which you're able to create different canapes and taste different wines. So do come down. That is on the 27th and the 28th of April. Go to Web Tickets and buy your tickets. All right. Well, thank you again. Thank you very, very much to the Pick n Pay Wine Club for doing these incredible events. Thank you very much to Pick n Pay Online. And most of all, thank you very much to Shawn, and thank you very much to Ken Forrester for a fantastic evening. It's been absolutely wonderful. We hope to see you soon again. Check out your emails, and thank you very much. Cheerio.
Cheers.
Cheers, Shawn. Thank you. Bye, guys. See you next time.
Cheers.